Hey everybody, welcome into Lucas Oil Stadium.
Oh,
this is Rapid Reaction brought to you by Buyers Auto.
Surprise
Ohio
start.
State,
Wow.
the third consecutive Big Ten championship is in the books. 34-21, they really had to earn this one. Fell behind by 14, early 14 at halftime, and then one of the most dominant second halves that you can have in a high stakes environment. To stay undefeated and punch a ticket to the college football playoff, they will find out at noon on Sunday where they are headed. Tim?
Yes.
What a wild ride this one was.
Dude, when they finally got a touchdown, because they got into scoring territory a few times in the first half and kept shooting themselves in the foot, so to speak, giving up big sacks, etc., maybe taking too long by Justin Fields. My point is, and then they score a touchdown, and you're going, okay, they're back in this, and then boom, Jonathan Taylor goes about 50, and then they get Wisconsin gets a quick touchdown just before halftime. I'm going, you know what? I don't think this is happening tonight for the Ohio State Buckeyes because it just wasn't there on offense or defense. I'm telling you, I've covered a lot of football games. I've never seen a team, an Ohio State team, flip like this one did in such a big situation. I've seen some great comebacks, like the one at Minnesota, et cetera.
Yeah.
But this is one for the books because Justin Fields, like I said, did you feel like an MVP at halftime? And he basically said, if anything, he came out a little too logy. Maybe not really 100%.
I thought there was no juice from anybody in the first half.
But second half, I mean, he had a half for the ages.
I think you could point to a lot of things, Birm. I'll let you give your take on it. I mean, they knew they had clinched a spot. They had just come off of these two emotional wins with Penn State and Michigan, and it's hard to stay up for three straight top 10 opponents. Like, you could find a lot of reasons for them to come out and have a bad half like that.
Hard to beat a
but the other
good
one
team
is that
once, let alone twice.
Wisconsin is a good team. Like, there are a lot of things that go into it. This is the first time that they've had to go actually prove it from a hole.
Yeah. It's crazy because that drive you're just talking about, the touchdown to make it 21-7 before the half. Wisconsin was absolutely content to run the clock out.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Buckeyes had 8 guys that forgot how to tackle on one play, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's take advantage. And I tweeted something at halftime, and I said, it reminded me of the Iowa game in 2017 and the Purdue game last year, where there were fluky kind of touchdowns towards the end of the half. And in both those games, Ohio State went into the locker room and folded up shop, ready to go home. And today, I was standing right by the locker room as they walked in it at halftime. And there wasn't a single look of concern on anybody's face. And at the moment, I thought, wow, that's kind of weird. They're still unemotional. And then I realized, wait a second, they're just a bunch of professionals who understand this game wasn't over. And I asked a lot of people on the sideline in the second half and in the celebration scrum, what the hell was said at halftime? And to a man, the response was, we were calm and we said, we are going to win this game. And that was it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, because I asked Greg Madison about that. It's like, what adjustments did you guys make? What was there a speech or any moment?
Tackle.
They're like, well, no, they didn't tackle well. They weren't playing with the same energy we've seen all year.
Right.
11 hats going to the football.
Let's put it this way. They didn't match what Wisconsin was bringing at them in the first half. You're right.
And Wisconsin had nothing to lose as well. And
right.
It's like, Ohio State really didn't have that, other than the fact that they wanted to win rings. I'm not trying to diminish that at all, but sometimes you can come out flat. It's a long season. You're going to have one bad performance. And theirs was one half.
One half all year long.
And then it was completely dominant to win a championship.
Isn't it amazing? That was their bad half of the year, and it was crazy how bad it was, and then how good it got. And Justin Fields credited C.J. Saunders with giving a little bit of a talk at halftime too. C.J. Saunders, the captain who got hurt before the season started, tried to come back, got hurt again, and that was that. I'm going to have a story on that later in the week for us because I talked to C.J. about it also, just about how he found his role. But they had this guy who hasn't played all year stand up and say, hey, finish this thing out. It's still there, et cetera. This team is better than this. Get with the business, and they did. And really, we're going to talk now about probably about comparing them to LSU, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But when you consider the hole they put themselves in and climbed back out and then stood on top of the mountain, that was crazy tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to discuss there with Ohio State and LSU now. Number 1 and number 2, there's going to be, however, as we're standing here, 10 hours of debate until they come out with the rankings. And, I think you can make a case either way. I think Ohio State is the most complete team with the best body of work. And then the other factor here that's Ohio State LSU is Joe Burrow. There's not going to be a debate. He's going to win the Heisman. But Justin Fields, Birm, he's a deserving guy to be in New York. I think it would be an injustice if he's not there. Chase Young is probably, he's in the mix, top 3, top 4, but really this is a clear-cut number 1 in that regard. And then Justin Fields will probably finish
Justin Fields
second.
is going to finish second in the Heisman after 1 year at Ohio State, and that's pretty good.
Crazy.
What I see out of Justin Fields, and his numbers, his statistics are ridiculous, obviously. Fumble today hurt, but that's because he's just trying to make a play. He won't give up on a play. But I'm telling you, folks, if you have watched Ohio State play all year long, you have seen a JT Barrett level of tough out of this quarterback. And he, every single night in this season, I've seen him do things. I'm like, wow, I can't believe he's getting up. I can't believe he's continuing to go at it. And sometimes you need a little help. Jeremy Ruckert made the catch of the year, maybe the catch of his life. And sometimes you need a little help to get you back into a rhythm. And you
got to make plays, man.
Yeah, you can see Justin was a little off early in the game and firing wide a little bit, high on the one to Chris Olave.
Barely on that post cut in the end zone.
So it's like you need someone to just come up and make a play. And Jeremy Ruckert did. And once that play happened, it was over.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, I agree, because I talked to Jeremy Ruckert after the game out here on the field, and in his essence, he kind of said the same thing. A play needed to be made. He had the opportunity. I mean, he doesn't know the ball is going to be way up here, and he's got to go up there and grab it. But the point is, that's why you bring 4 and 5 stars to the party, because they can make a play like that. We all saw, like I said, Justin Fields just missed Chris Olave on a post cut that might have changed the game early, but it didn't happen, and then he gets sacked, and a couple of those early drives. But I agree. I mean, I wrote that story for us a few weeks ago about Justin Fields proving his toughness, and
he's been incredible.
And we expected him to be this sweet, really multi-talented, dual-threat quarterback. How tough was he going to be? Dude, he answered the bell the entire year, with the exception of a couple of plays in the Michigan game.
Yeah, I bet he's looking forward to a little time off.
He said that in the locker room. He's going to need some time to get that ready. He's not going to have much to practice this week. He's going to go to New York. He's going to go to Atlanta for an award show. But as we stand here right now, let's look forward to this week ahead, guys, on Rapid Reaction, brought to you by Buyers Auto. I feel like every time I've guessed about where Ohio State's going to go, what the committee's going to do, how this is all going to play out with the matchup, every time the committee proves me wrong. I don't ever know what they're going to do, and I don't know what they're going to do tomorrow. Do you guys have any read on if Ohio State will stay number 1, LSU's going to number 1, Phoenix, Atlanta, any matchup, any feel at all?
It's really weird that you can't read the mind of a body that is entirely subjective and does nothing based on fact and or logic. That's totally crazy.
I'm glad you said it, because
I know I'm perplexed by it.
That you can't figure it out.
5 seasons.
Listen, I think it really all shakes down to, if Oklahoma's the 4 now, as we assume they're going to be, it makes sense to me that it's Ohio State, Oklahoma out in Phoenix, and LSU, Clemson in Atlanta. That's just the way I know the committee has a lot of different ways to do things, but I think there's no way they send, and this is assuming Ohio State's number 1.
Well, here's the problem with that, though, Birm. They're supposed to, the only team that it's supposed to matter for, to make sure that you avoid home field advantage or whatever, is
number one.
Okay. Are you giving them a disadvantage by sending them to Phoenix and letting LSU go to Atlanta? Does it hurt then number 2 if LSU has to play Clemson a couple hours away from their campus? I mean, these are the questions they're going to wrestle with, Tim. Every time, I know all the factors out there, but I still have no clue how they're going to resolve it.
Right, but I don't know how much you have to play, into that from the standpoint of, like we were talking about before the game, this idea of a home field advantage. Atlanta, LSU, I think Ohio State's as close to Atlanta as LSU is, for example. Yeah. It's definitely closer than Oklahoma is. It's not closer than Clemson. I agree, but once you get in the building, it was ridiculous. This was a home game.
Home field advantage for Ohio State.
This was crazy tonight. Ohio State fans will show up in Atlanta. They will get second market tickets. Mm-hmm. They will be there at least in a 50-50 realm. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
So, does it matter if you're practicing closer to where Clemson's from? I don't know. So anyway, back to what you're saying.
Warmer weather.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this committee. They had LSU number 2 and Georgia number 4 going into today on Saturday. Well, it's actually Sunday now as we speak.
Yeah.
LSU beat their number 4 team soundly. Ohio State beat their number 8 team soundly finally.
Again.
So the committee has within its power, I do believe, to step up there at the podium and with a straight face say, LSU's number 1 because in the final game, they beat our number 4.
Yeah, it's just such a like.
If they do that, why set them up this way to begin with?
Yeah, exactly.
It's supposed to take in the whole body of work. And Ohio State has more top 25 wins. They won their conference. They've done it in dominant fashion. They won every single game by double digits.
But they've said this is a weekly snapshot. And last week, Ohio State had beaten its arch rival, a Michigan team that was like ranked, like 13th, and LSU had beaten Arkansas.
Do either of you think that this Wisconsin team would lose to Georgia?
No. Georgia is awful.
They're a bad team.
I don't understand any of this stuff with Georgia. The people that were clamoring, I'm going to stop right now because it doesn't matter.
That'd be another 30 minutes because that's what I'm getting to is the SEC aspect of this is crazy.
Yeah, so I'm just going to stop and I'm going to save that because we
got a lot to talk.
We're going to know the matchups. Let's get some other news out here, the stuff that you guys and I have learned tonight. How about this is way off the radar for some people, but it's important for Ohio State's recruiting efforts and building the offensive line. We found out that Enoch Vamahi is not going to take his mission. He's putting that off.
Important.
That's a huge deal for Ohio State. Piece number 2, the Rose Bowl MVP last year, Brendan White, did not travel with Ohio State to this game.
Despite being on the travel roster.
There was a little bit of a mix. He was not on the travel list.
A gray area.
No.
They
just
Scarlet gray area?
There's an explanation.
It doesn't matter how the mistake was made.
Bottom line is he wasn't here.
He was not on the travel list, and obviously he wasn't here either.
And I'm not sure he practiced much last week from what I'm hearing. So
you can, I think, our speculation, our guess here of our educated guess of what's going to happen here is that this could be a portal situation. It's really been, I don't know, a remarkable fall from grace for a guy that we spent the entire offseason talking about being this bullet position and his Rose Bowl performance. Those are 2 bits of news. Anything else that needs?
By the way, that bullet position took a back seat when Shaun Wade just kept getting better, and they figured out exactly, and no fault of Brendan White, but he kind of fell in the cracks. Yeah. And
it's hard to learn a new position.
Yes.
And with a whole new coaching
especially
staff,
when they don't use it. Yeah. I mean, how often did I told you they should have put the B on there and flash because
the bullet. I mean,
did we ever see the bullet very much?
When we do a oral history of the 2019 Buckeye football season, the conversation around the bullet position for the entire spring will go down as the biggest air biscuit of the entire year.
I'm not even sure that it wasn't a root.
It's not a real thing.
You start thinking.
Well, you write about it all the time in recruiting. Like they still
use it. Yeah, I mean, they're still telling kids you're the guy at the bullet position.
If you've got a linebacker that can run with a tight end like Pete Werner could, and you've got Shaun Wade who can be the nickel. Anything you want. I mean, Shaun Wade tackled Jonathan Taylor for a 3-yard loss. That was a huge play in the second half. 3-yard loss in the middle of the field.
He popped him.
Yeah, as I asked him, what do you? He goes, you had to make a play. I go, I'm going, well, what are you doing there?
Yeah. All right.
There's so much to talk about in the next 2 weeks, but why do it all now?
Yeah, we're not going to. We're going to head back to Columbus, Ohio, to cover Selection Sunday for the College Football Playoff. The Buckeyes, 34-21 winners over the Wisconsin Badgers. Here we go. It's time for more games. The semifinals are coming for the Buckeyes. We're going to find out those details on Sunday at noon. Stick with Lettermen Row for all that coverage and a little bit of post-game fallout here from Lucas Oil Stadium. That is Tim May. That is Jeremy Birmingham. Behind the camera is Spencer Holbrook. He's got more confetti. I am just Austin Ward. Thanks for following along with us during this whole Big Ten season. We will see you in the playoff.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live. We've got the practice report. We got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got Buckeye IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Birm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.